Why do we let fear take control of us so much? What is it there for? Why is fear a part of everyday life? I'm not talking about the fear and the manipulation from outside of ourselves, from the media, from the matrix, from the bullshit that you see on the screen. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fear that we experience individually in our own lives. And I'm going through something at the minute that, there's a lot of this is coming up, a lot of questions, and a lot of like, well, why aren't I practicing what I'm preaching? Why am I not? Why am I resisting? So resistance comes from an element of fear. There is a fear of just taking a leap of faith. And the fear is there. The fear is there to actually show and teach us, one, that we have resistance and we still have a block of some description in our mind. Very briefly, when we talk about energy blocks and blocks, my definition of an energy block now is totally different to what it used to be years ago. And it's not something that is stuck within your body, it's all up here. It's all kind of like your beliefs of who you are as a person. So that is an energy block. You don't get blocks in chakras or anything like that. There's no such thing as that. It's all up here. And that is my belief now. Your belief will change on this, by the way, over periods of time, and mine has over the years. And that's part of awakening. That's part of the ascension process, is you're awakening to new discoveries and new realizations within the self. But fear is teaching us, one, that we have resistance to something. So that is obviously stopping us in our path. So that is something that we need to look at. That is something we need to observe. We need to try and find out, well, why? Where's this fear coming from? Is it ancestral? Is it a habitual way of being? Is it programming? So there's lots of things that we can look at within life that the fear might come from. So that's number one. Number two, the other thing that fear is telling us as well and teaching us is that we actually need fear. Because if everything is plain sailing and everything just works as it is and everything's in total harmony, it's very much like the yin and yang. You always need the dark and the light. But if everything is perfect and everything just flows as it's meant to, without any stoppages, without any resistance, without any reasons for self-awareness, for looking at ourselves, then how are we going to learn? How are we going to develop? How are we going to grow spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically? We always need a level of resistance. What's coming to my mind now is, if you laid doing, say, a bench press in the gym, you're pushing against a force, you're pushing against resistance. And over time, that resistance becomes easier, becomes more manageable, and then you can increase the resistance. That is what is happening with fear and your resistance in life. So don't look at the stop and the stoppages and the blocks and the resistance and the fear as a negative thing. Look at it as a positive thing, because you're actually now aware that there is an element of fear. There is an element of an awareness of resistance. So that is where you need to look. Why are you resisting? Why is the fear coming up? And that's something personally that I'm doing at the minute, because I've gone through like a big decision that I've had to make, and quite recently, and I'm going through that process now. And I was sat with this, and my guide said, look, there's no harm in you just because I say certain things and I speak from my beliefs and my belief structures, and I'm trying to help people, improve people, and allow people to move on. We're all on that same wheel. We're all on that same journey. So I'm just in the same process as people that watch my videos. I'm still going through stuff. But we all have different levels of awareness of how we approach that. So some of us, that might be further up the scale, will approach it, and the shift will be quicker. The fear and the resistance will move away quicker. People that are lower down will fight against kind of like the fear and the resistance, and kind of like be stubborn about it, and like, no, it's not me, blah 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 blah, and they'll argue the toss with it. people that are on their journey of unveiling and awakening and spiritual evolution will understand that there is a resistance there. There is something that is stopping them. There is a fear, but also that life is perfect and life is as it should be. And the universe, your divine energy, your source energy, is guiding you and helping you. The really, really tricky thing is that the fear and the resistance activates the ego more. So the ego speaks more than your intuition. Your intuition is very, very subtle. Your intuition is always there and it's always operating on some level. But when you have so much going on that you're trying to think about, you're trying to work out, you're trying to balance, and you're arguing the toss with yourself in your mind, that is the ego constantly there, just telling you. And that's something I've experienced a lot of lately is the ego and this rebalancing of it. But it's not something to be kind of, ashamed of. We've all got an ego. We've all got different levels of ego. We've all got an acceptance to it. And many of us are working alongside the ego and using it in harmony within their life. Other people are just living in the ego mind constantly and have no awareness and perception of anything beyond that because they're so fixated in that and they're so fixated within the mind. So fear is something really, and the resistance it's a lesson. It really is. It is a lesson, and it's a hurdle and resistance that we eventually evolve past and we move through. And there comes a time and there comes a point where there has to be a level of surrender. After so long, there will be a level of surrender, a level of acceptance that, just throw caution to the wind and let's just see what happens. And we all get that. So don't think of it as a negative thing. Just remember that you are human. Remember that you're here to learn, you're here to evolve, you're here to develop, you're here to grow on all the multidimensional levels of yourself. Because what you're healing now is also healing your past lives, your past selves, your ancestral line, but it's also healing your future lines and your lives to come. So the healing and the awareness and the work that you're doing now is going to make the onward journey so much more exciting and so much more enjoyable. So use fear and harness fear and understand that it's there for a purpose. And again, I'm not talking about the fear from the external world. I'm not talking about the matrix, because that's all just an illusion. That's people just pulling strings, trying to keep themselves in places of power because they think that they're running the show. Actually, you're running the show, and your divine energy, the source energy that is behind all that is actually running the show. No more of that. But that also brings in the question of, your own, you have your own choice, your own free will. So you can either accept that or you can accept yourself, accept that you're on this new journey, accept that things are going to come up, you will be fearful, there will be things that will trigger you, but it's all part of a wonderful process of unveiling, of coming out of the cocoon of what you've been trapped in, coming out of that shell, that chrysalis, a bit like a butterfly really. You've lived that life and now you've gone into hiding and now you're going through this awakening process and you're coming out and you're really showing your colors, you're really showing your truth, and you're really connecting to all that is, that divine spark that resides within your very center, your very soul, and is everywhere, is everything. It's not just in one place, it is everyone and everything, and we're all a part of it on some level. So fear, it's an interesting concept. Give me a comment, let me know what you think.